Welcome to Dhon Mheg, the second new dungeon introduced in Shadowbringers. This dungeon is available at level 73 and drops item level 400 gear. The party will occasionally happen across these Dawn Fast Foth mobs, which will immediately begin casting a damage up buff on one of the nearby trash mobs. This can and should be interrupted. The first boss the party will encounter is Ankhon, Lord of the Lingering Gaze. Candy Cane is a tank buster. Hydrofoil is a medium circle AoE that will first target one party member, and later in the encounter too. Laughing Leap will have Ankhon jump to the center of the arena in a circle AoE, or target a player with a split damage marker. If the Laughing Leap cast is a circle AoE, it will be followed by Land's Blood, the main mechanic for this encounter. Multiple water spouts will appear on the ground, first as a ring, then as a bubbling ring, and finally as a water explosion. The easiest way to handle this mechanic is to find a safe spot, wait for the first explosion, move into the spot where that explosion just occurred, and keep moving into spots where explosions have just occurred until the assault is over. Getting hit by these explosions will knock players into the air, stunning them for a short duration and dealing medium damage. The second boss the party will find is Creole. When Creole casts Swinge, it will face a random party member and cast a large conal AoE. Stay near the boss and move out as necessary. Fodder will cause multiple painted saplings to appear around the arena. Immediately after Fodder, Creole will begin casting Timber, tethering to each of the 5 saplings at this time. Each player should intercept one of the 5 tethers, minimizing the growth stacks Creole acquires and instead giving them to the intercepted players. At the end of the Timber cast, Timber will deal raid-wide damage. This cast will then repeat if every player did not intercept one of the tethers. Coiling Ivy will bind all 4 party members in place with a small low-health ad. Players will be unable to move until these ads are killed, limiting their movement. Their health is low enough that it doesn't matter very much, but stacking during this cast to the AoE the painted roots down is probably the best way to deal with this. The final boss of this dungeon is the new and improved Ankhon, Lord of the Lengthsome Gate. The encounter begins with Crippling Blow, a hard-hitting tank buster. This is immediately followed by Virtuosic Capriccio, dealing raid-wide damage and inflicting all party members with bleed damage over time. Next, Ankhon will cast Imp Choir, transforming all players that do not look away into an imp for a short period of time. Imp Choir is immediately followed by Toad Choir, for which Ankhon will face a random party member before unleashing a very wide conal AoE in their direction, transforming all players hit into a toad for a short duration. Immediately move behind Ankhon during this cast to avoid this. When Ankhon jumps to the north end of the arena and casts Funambulist's Fantasia, he will knock all party members back to the south end of the arena and summon Liar's Lyre, which will begin casting Finale. Players will have to navigate across the narrow bridge to the other side of the chasm, being careful not to clip corners and fall off. Falling will not kill players, but they will have to start again from the south end. Once across the bridge, players can enter the Lyre's bubble and DPS it down before the finale cast is finished. Once the Lyre is defeated, Ankhon will return and use Changeling's Fantasia, transforming into everyone's favorite Pagos mob. As the Shade of Fear, medium AoEs will rain down from the sky. The Shade will face a random party member and cast Corrosive Bile, a wide conal AoE that deals persistent damage. Even if you're in the initial blast, make sure to move out as soon as possible to avoid death. Flailing Tentacles will cause the Shade to lift its 4 tentacles, slamming them down in its intercardinal directions at the end of the cast. Stand between 2 tentacles to avoid this damage, which comes with a bleed if you're hit. Eventually the Shade will revert back to Ankhon and repeat the mechanics from earlier in the fight. Watch for those Toad Choirs and secure the win.